Hey everyone, so I just finished filming my Saturn series on what success means to you based on your Saturn placement. So now I want to talk about how that success shows up for you based on the house that it falls into in your chart. So I'm going to be talking about Saturn in the houses, but just remember that the way that it shows up in that house is through the lens and the focus of what the sign represents. So watch the video for your Saturn sign to see what success actually looks like for you in your life, in your chart, how it materializes, and then add the house. This is the area of life that materialized success is going to come through. So, if Saturn is in your first house, success will show up in you, like in who you are, in yourself, your idea of yourself. So, it's how you view yourself, and it's also how you view the world, reality, and it's also your physicality. So, success will materialize through the sign that your Saturn falls into, and it'll show up in you. So if Saturn comes into your second house, success will come into how you handle money. So it'll be through the lens of what you work on with your Saturn sign, with the sign that Saturn falls into. And then it's going to show up in the way that you handle your possessions, your material security, and what you value about yourself, your self-esteem, and how you establish and maintain that. If Saturn is coming into your third house, success will show up in how you formulate ideas. And now the ideas that you form are going to be, they're going to be about what the sign is, about the Saturn sign. So the associations that you see and formulate in everyday life, the things that you connect. It's also, sorry, I'm reading notes. The way that you take in information and how you hold that information. The mental filter that you create is where you'll see your success come through. And it's also the courage that you develop within yourself to express the information that you've obtained. Now, if Saturn comes into your fourth house, success for you will show up in your home life. And it'll show up as the stability within your home life. Now, it's going to look differently, again, based on the sign, but either way, home for you is going to feel like that's where you find your security and your success, is being rooted in a physical home or to yourself. It's the emotional connection that you have to yourself. Saturn in the fifth house, success for you will show up in what you create, what you work on. And Saturn, what your Saturn sign is, and the work that you do with your Saturn is your greatest asset, because what your Saturn materializes is what you're creating in your chart. It's coming from you. It's coming from that connection to yourself and to your creativity, to who you are. So in a way, this can actually be, it might be more not as prone to overindulge, but it can also make you enjoy the Saturn work that you have and the responsibility, because it makes you work on creating from what your Saturn sign is about. So Saturn in the sixth house, success for you will show up in your ability to maintain health. And this could be physical health and mental health. And it'll be maintained by the sign that Saturn falls into. because the sign there that Saturn is in is going to show you how you maintain your daily life and your daily routines. So your ability to perfect the skills that you have, to perfect the skills of what your Saturn sign represents, that's how you will see your success come through your 6th house. So this can actually be a really good aspect for an employee to have, because you're going to be that employee that has a desired skill set. So bosses will probably love you. So if Saturn is in the 7th house, success for you will show up in how you handle your relationships and how you maintain connections in your life. So this can give a mature approach to relationships. And it's going to come, the style that you go about handling your relationships is going to come through the lens of what the sign is. So your ability to handle other people and understand things from other people's perspective is how success will be seen in the 7th house for you. Now, Saturn in the 8th house, success for you will show up in how you handle any stress in your life or any crises in life. It's going to show up as a resiliency to these things, to destruction in your life. If anything just falls apart, your ability to maintain a sense of stability with yourself, that is how you're going to see your success. And it's going to be through what the Saturn sign is about. And the stability success of Saturn in your 8th house and how it shows up in this area of your life, that can create a solid intimacy within your relationships. So your ability to maintain that intimacy in a solid way and keep it stable, that is another way success will show up for you. If Saturn is in your 9th house, success for you will show up in how you grow as a person. How you handle change in life. That is where you'll see a lot of your success come up. Because when change comes up and you're able to not resist it anymore, no longer be resistant or fearful of it, and you're able to embrace it, you establish a broader vision of your life. And that when you create that vision of what you see out of life, how you visualize life and what you want out of life, that's going to be your sense of success. That's where you're going to derive that success from. And it's going to look a lot like what the sign is, your Saturn sign. So it's also when you formulate a belief system or solidify your belief system based on what you've been taught, or when you learn beyond what you've been taught. That's where you'll see your success come in. If Saturn is in your 10th house, success for you will show up in your reputation. And not just your reputation, but your ability to create a solid reputation for yourself that always remains strongly intact. And it can be a career that you generate from yourself, from what you've accumulated in your life. But it's also just in the image of yourself as a person that has power, that has authority, that has achieved some amount of success. And it's going to look like the sign, that success, that image of success is going to look like the sign that Saturn is in. If Saturn is in your 11th house, your success will come through the power that you have within groups and your ability to maintain a system of people and groups that you're a part of, or groups that are around you. Your ability to be like the solid foundation for it. And because you're able to find commonalities with people. You find power and success by being a part of a group, but you can also stand apart from it and develop new systems for the groups that you're a part of. So in that way, and it depends on what the sign is, what sign your Saturn is falling into. That's going to show what it is that you are kind of creating for yourself that is contributing to the groups that you are a part of. And that work that you do with your Saturn and how it completes groups, or maybe can later add to other groups, or how you give the group more power and solidity based on what your Saturn sign is, that's how you'll find your success. Saturn in the 12th house. Success for you will show up in your ability to carry burdens. And now this one is kind of weird because it's like, it might not feel like that's even something to feel successful over, but Saturn here is kind of draped with empathy. So you are actually able to handle people's burdens. And you might not even realize that you have this ability, but you can. And it's going to show up in the sign. Like, your ability to do this is going to show up. How you do this is based on the sign that Saturn is in. But you can carry people's burdens and your own while maintaining an emotional understanding of what this is about. So your success will be felt more when you allow yourself space and time to reflect on things that you've accomplished or what you are carrying within yourself. When you're able to kind of let these go. It's a real like meditative kind of success that comes with Saturn in the 12th house. And it's going to look a lot like what the sign is about. That's kind of what you'll be carrying and letting go at the same time. So I hope that this helped you understand Saturn through the houses and how it shows up as the success in your house, the Saturn success through your houses. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.